Welcome to the Excuse Smashers podcast.
Hey, this is Tim Kaufman. Thank you so much for joining me as I talk to some of the most amazing people on the planet about excuses and why they didn't let excuses hold them back from a plant-based lifestyle. So sit down, buckle up, and hang on as my guests show you how to
Smash excuses.
Welcome, Derick. It is so good to have you. I'm so excited. I'm super excited about the topic, and I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to spend with us so we can learn some and pick your brain. So thanks for being here, Derick.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
All right, so the first thing I want to do is, if you could, be so kind, can you just tell us how a plant-based way of eating has changed your life?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, what hasn't it changed? I mean, it's crazy. I've been plant-based for 3 years now. Went from 278 pounds down to 172 now.
Wow.
Lost a bunch of weight. I feel better. I'm running now. I just ran my first ultra marathon a month and a half ago, which is something I never even dreamed was possible, Yeah. And I owe it all to, being on a plant-based diet. My entire family is also on a plant-based diet. They're all runners and very active, and I made a complete 180.
That's awesome. So, like, activity-wise, what was life before you went plant-based? Like, what was your activity level?
It was very low. Like, I would go to work during the day, feeling tired all the time. Get home, sit on the couch, order some takeout, and just pretty much pass out afterwards,
Yeah.
No movement whatsoever.
Yeah, huge congratulations on the weight loss and your
Thank you.
ultra. So weight loss, and then obviously this huge uptake in energy. What about any medical stuff? Did you see any changes in that?
Yeah. Back before I went plant-based, I had high blood pressure, high cholesterol. I had a autoimmune disease. And since then, everything's all normal now. I mean, everything's in check. It's perfect. I mean, my resting heart rate sits in the 30s now, which is it's crazy to me, I'm on no medications, full of energy, full of life. It's a beautiful thing.
Unbelievable. Oh man, that's so awesome. Huge congrats on that.
Thank
you. As you know, this is Excuse Smashers. So I'm actually super excited for you to smash this excuse. And first, I'm going to give you the excuse, and then I'm going to ask you why you think I picked you. But I hear this so many times. My kids are a little bit older, and one doesn't live with me, and the other one's in college. So, we don't actually we kind of don't control their food choices. My daughter lives at home; she eats whatever's here. But but I hear this from so many young families that they have kids, and they're like, I would do the plant-based thing, but I can't feed my young kid plant-based because it's just not healthy. So I hear it all the time, and there's so many different angles, but we'll just stick with, I can't do it because my kid won't be healthy. So first of all, why do you think I asked you to smash this excuse?
Because I have a 2-year-old son, and he's been plant-based since day one. Since the first day he was born, and he's doing very well. No development issues or anything. He's in the 90th percentile in weight and height, and he's a perfectly healthy child.
That's so your son is 2 years old.
Yes.
And he's been plant-based since day one, which as a side note is totally awesome, because it's hard, because when people transition to plant-based, like, they're so used to all the cake and the ice cream and all that kind of stuff, and then they always have these decisions. But if that's how you're raised, like, that's all that's like, you realize it's food. And I don't want to get too far off topic, but I heard one time I had a friend that moved here from Ghana, and he had never seen like some of the food that we have. Like he had never seen strawberry dipped in chocolate, and he didn't know what to do with it. And to him it didn't taste good. So it's not so a matter of what tastes good; it's what your culture is and what you're used to that kind of drives that. So it's going to be so much easier for your son growing up because he just recognizes like whole plant food as food, and he doesn't see all the other crap. So man, Dad,
something
kudos.
I'm very proud of.
You should be proud. That is freaking huge. It's huge. So the first thing I want to ask you is, obviously, this comes with a lot of challenges. Like I like we could probably sit here for 2 hours and talk about the challenges.
Oh yeah.
But if you could just highlight like some examples of challenges that you run into, whether it's strangers or doctors or family or whatever it is that you come across that this has challenged you and your wife.
I would say mostly the doctors. Every time we bring him in for a checkup, we let them know that he's on a plant-based diet and everything, and then the first question we get asked is, where does he get his protein from? Or they tell me he needs to be drinking milk and just the typical stuff. And we basically just tell him, no. He's been plant-based since day one, and he has no issues, no development issues or anything, and we just gonna keep that going.
So your doctor obviously is one challenge, and you probably got to almost stay on that every time you go there. But does he go to daycare or anything like that?
Yes, he goes to daycare. Our daycare is really great because they're very cooperative with letting us send his food from home, and yeah.
Well, I've actually, you're super fortunate to have a daycare like that, because I've heard so many stories about daycares actually calling, like calling government agencies because kids are coming to school with no meat and cheese and stuff.
Right.
I mean, they're trying to get these
We
people
actually
in
had
trouble.
to get a doctor to sign a note saying that he was plant-based for the daycare to cooperate.
Yeah, because I actually think there's government legislation that there's like a checklist.
Right.
And I learned a couple of weeks ago that the same is true in a nursing home. Like they have a checklist from the government that they have to like check off, even calorically per day. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty crazy. Okay, so we got the doctor, and then the daycare. That's obviously a challenge. How about like friends, like birthday parties and stuff like that?
Yeah, that's quite the challenge too. We actually our friends are really great because they try to accommodate us, because obviously they know we plant-based and all. So we had a birthday party a couple of weekends ago, and they cooked us a sweet potato chili.
Oh, cool.
And Gray loved that, and they had some vegan cookies and just a couple of things to kind of help us out. We didn't have to bring any food or anything like that, and actually, it's kind of strange, but he does not like birthday cake. He doesn't like sweets.
Yeah. Actually, I was going to actually ask you that because I kind of a spin off the same excuse is, my kid won't eat vegetables, but I'm pretty sure with Gray, he eats vegetables, right?
Oh yeah, that's all he eats. Yep.
And he never complains, right?
He loves it.
And it's just another perfect example is that when the kids start eating the vegetables, they learn to like them and their palate adjusts, and that's what they like,
Right.
So that's super cool. So why don't we take those three things, and if you could think about some ways, and it's almost, I would assume it's almost like second nature for you now. It's just how it works. But for a lot of people, you would have to understand that this is pretty scary stuff.
Right.
To have a 2-year-old kid that you're trying to transition to plant-based if they're not already. So if you could give us some tools that you use with the doctor and with daycare, what the food prep looks like, and with going like socially, how that all works.
Okay. Well, with the doctor, I mean, we don't really have many issues there. He's not, you know, really pushy or anything like that, telling us what we have to do and all. He just says that we should keep an eye on him, you know, for any kind of development issues or anything like that. But the biggest one would be, you know, with daycare and all, we actually, you know, we make his food every week. Actually, my mother-in-law does it. She's a godsend. But yeah, we send his food every day to daycare.
What
Well,
about Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I'm just thinking like, because I don't know how daycare works, but I would assume like you send a luncheon, and then do they provide like snacks throughout the day for all the
Yeah,
kids?
they do, but they give a lot of fruit and stuff like that. And I mean, we'll send little snack stuff there too for him to
Yeah.
have during the day.
Now, do you think, because there's so many, like nut allergies and egg allergies and lactose, all that kind of stuff, do you think it's easier to just kind of group that as this is a food restriction?
Um, no, not really.
I just think it's weird that, like, if I go into a restaurant, they'll have all these like warnings about like nut allergies, or this might have come in contact with whatever. But
Right.
as soon as you say like it's a choice that you want to eat plants, they get all weird about it. Where
Yeah.
sometimes, in fact, I was at the restaurant we were at in New York City. I'm like, yeah, I have an oil allergy. Like, I don't know
Yeah.
if anyone ever really has it, but I feel like I
Yeah.
get a lot farther saying I'm allergic to something than I just don't want it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then birthday parties or whatever. Now I'm 2 years old. Is probably young to the point where he's like going to birthday parties alone. But
Yeah.
so your friends kind of know. Your friends have the heads up. But have you ever been in a situation where you go somewhere where they don't know? And I
Yeah.
mean, in my family, everyone's trying to feed the kids like jam ice cream cones down their throat. Like that's how you show love in my
Right.
house. when
Yeah.
we were younger.
Exactly.
How do you
That is
how
my
do you
family
police
too.
that?
Oh, actually, before we get to a birthday party or an event, we'll eat at home before we leave, and then we'll pack a little bag with snacks and stuff like that for them, while we're there.
Yeah.
And that's how we handle that kind of situation. We always have food with us.
Yeah. See, I can't. There's such a theme in every one of these that whole preparation thing is like the
Mhm.
key to all this.
Oh yeah, it's a job to keep everything, to keep up with the food and all, but it's something we believe in,
Yeah.
and you know
And it's a priority.
it's a priority, exactly.
So I'm dying to know, how often is he sick?
Never, never.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Besides, when before he turned 1, he had ear infections a lot and all, and he had the flu a couple of times, and since he started eating, table food and all, and got off the formula and stuff like that, he hadn't been sick since. I mean, it's probably been a good 10, 12, almost a year. It's about a year since he's been to the doctor for actually being sick.
That is so awesome. That
Yeah,
is like
and
so
for a 2-year-old, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, especially
'Cause,
licking all the germs up at daycare and stuff
Right.
from the other kids.
I have
Yeah.
friends with 2-year-olds, and they basically live at the doctor's office.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. So
And
this is kind of a little bit off topic, but I'm kind of being selfish here because I want to know what goes through your head. Like, he's 2 now. What do you ever think about what in another 5 years or even 10 years, what that's going to look like, or do you not think that far ahead?
oh yeah, I do often. I'm just so proud. I think later on down the road he's gonna be quite the athlete.
I bet
He's
you're
always
right.
actually, next weekend we're putting him in his first fun run.
Nice.
Have a kids fun run at a local 5K.
Yeah.
So we're gonna put him in there and see what he does. He loves to run. He's very active. He's full of energy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
As far as like staying the plant based, do you think Do you think that's going to change at all? Do you think, I guess what I'm asking is, do you think there's going to be bumps in the road? Do you think there's going to be challenges ahead that you can kind of foresee when he starts like school or?
Maybe so. You know, with like the fast food places and stuff like that. But I mean, he's been plant-based since day one, so he already knows, you know, what his food is.
Yeah.
You know, so I really don't think we're gonna have too many issues with that, because I mean, our entire family is plant-based, and you know, I feel, you know, him being plant-based is the natural human food.
Yeah.
And that's what he likes. I mean, he doesn't like when we go to my family's place, you know, every now and then to visit, you know, they're not plant-based at all. They'll be frying up something or making a stew or something like that, and you know, my mom will try to give him a bite or something, and he'll just spit it out. You know, he doesn't like it. The kid loves his beans and rice and his fresh fruit. I mean, he can't get enough of it.
Dude, that is so awesome. Like, that is so awesome.
He doesn't like processed food at all.
That's super cool. So can you think of any other tools that come to the top of your head other than being prepared and you know, I think communication would be another key to make sure that people know before he gets there what his food looks like.
Right.
Can you
Communication
think of anything
is a big
else?
one.
Oh, sorry. Can you think of anything else?
No, I mean, that's about it.
Yeah.
I mean, we always prepared with food and everything, and we like to let everybody know, you know, that he's plant-based and that we're plant-based before we go somewhere, you know.
So here's another like big huge question, and be totally honest about this. Do you think it's as hard as people think to do this?
No, not at all. It's actually, I mean, it's a job, don't get me wrong. I mean, it takes a lot of preparation and all, but it's not as hard as it would seem.
Yeah,
you know,
I think it just goes back to priorities. You know,
we used to make his own food. We had a Ninja, it's a baby bullet or something we had got.
Right.
And before he was eating, you know, solid foods, every Sunday I would make all his food, you know, with kale and carrots and fresh fruit, and you know, pack it away in little containers and freeze it and just send it to daycare with him. And it's very easy.
Yeah.
You know,
that's
especially
awesome.
when it's such a huge priority, you know, we make the time for it. And my wife is wonderful. My mother-in-law helps out a ton. So, you know, we all kind of team up and just get it done, you know?
Yeah. You know, it's funny. In fact, you know, talking to you on her computer, it reminds me of something your mother-in-law said when I talked to her, and I'd never heard this before. Because, like, my mom, you know, her thing for the kids is you feed them. Like, that's how you show them you love them. You know,
exactly.
You make all the, you know, the whoopie pies and all the really, like, hyper sweet
candy
stuff. And, you know, your mother-in-law said, well, that's how I show them I love them still. But now it's to keep them healthy. And
right.
That's like, it hit me like it is so huge. So,
yeah.
So, I mean, you do that work, you make it a priority because you realize that his health is like of so much importance.
Oh, yeah.
Know?
Absolutely.
And, yeah, it's so cool. So, man, I cannot tell you, first of all, kudos to you and your wife in making it work. Like, that is like so big, it's so huge. And I think you're paving the way, honestly, for like a whole movement, because I really think this is picking up steam. And,
absolutely.
And so thank you so much for being here. I know people are going to get a ton out of this, and and I'm actually going to say if people have questions, man, they should reach out to you and your wife.
Sure, yeah.
And it will be like, if you don't mind, like, I know there's a lot of families that I kind of can't help because my kids are all old, but I would love to be able to send them your way and just pick
absolutely.
your brain.
Please do. We can help anybody. We'll be glad to.
Yeah, I'll tag you and your wife in the post, and then if people reach out and have questions, and you can help them along and show them that it's not that difficult, you know. Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot more to it than what we talked about, but it's really simple. You know, it just takes a little time.
Yeah.
But it's a big deal.
It's your kids' health. I mean, what's bigger deal than your kids' health, right?
Yep. And my wife's actually about to start up a Facebook page called, I think, Plant-Based Parenting or something like that,
Okay.
to try to reach out to people.
Yeah, and when she gets that, give me the link and I'll put it in the notes underneath here, and I'm sure it will
Okay.
be invaluable. You guys are doing it.
Yeah.
You're blazing the trail, and the more people that follow that is super super cool.
Yep. Absolutely. I'm so
So
proud of it.
yeah, you should be. All right, man, Derick. I can't thank you enough for being here, and it was a super great conversation, man.
Thank you, Tim. It was great talking to you.
Oh man, that was like simply amazing, Derick Harrington. To be honest with you, that is kind of not the topic we started with. And after we talked a little bit before, I'm like, I had no clue that his 2-year-old son was plant based, from birth, or and that just blew my mind. And it got me interested, like really interested, and that was like huge. So many people think it's like impossible to raise a kid because they need so much protein to grow, and you're going to stunt their growth, or they're going to be underweight or whatever. And it's not true. It's not true. And the thing is, in other countries, they don't consume, a small percentage of the meat that we consume, and their kids are healthy. So it's just something we've been fed that's a total lie, and it's totally doable. And Derick and his wife, they're doing it, and they're doing it well. And I'm so happy for them, and I'm so happy that they're doing it early, and there's going to be no like learning curve for Grayson, which is simply amazing. So, at the end of the day, when someone tells you that they can't raise a kid plant-based because they need all this protein when they're little, you tell them that the Harringtons pretty much have this excuse.
Smash.